Welcome to Energy Jongdong live stream number 53. My name is Tu Garner, and I'm your host for today's program. Well, first of all, congratulations to all the students that have completed class 3 last weekend. You made it, and I know that you dedicated your 3 days weekend. That's a lot of time, 3 to 5 hours a day per session, and you made it. And that we are very happy to see that, because we see your strong commitment to learning energy, and we're so excited. We cannot wait to hear more results that you are going to share with us. And also earlier today, we had a second session of the extra activation for Mr. Lei for the students, for the class 3 students who missed either 1 or 2 activation from last weekend. And that is extremely kind and generous of Mr. Lee, because it's another whole session of 2 hours, 2 extra hours. And he did that because he knows that we, for whatever reason, we might have missed 1 or 2, technical problem and this or that, for whatever reason. So we all made it. And yes, I'm so excited about that. Congratulations to all. And I would like to take this opportunity as well to thank Miss Ha Kao, my colleague, and she did the live translation for class 3 for 3 full sessions. That was big commitment from her as well. I really appreciate her work. And yes, and also, well, today, let me get back to today's program. So today's Thursday, and we try to make it Thursday Science as a regular science session of our live stream. And today, again, I will have a conversation with Dr. James Ong again, and he will be sharing with us his, with regards to one of his scientific videos regarding energy, entitled "We Are All Connected to the Universe." Right? It sounds so exciting. Yeah, he will share with us how our universe was created and how we all came from the same source energy. And this clearly explains how energy, NLG, and energy-based, how it works. And we hope that this will enlighten you, and you see, you would believe that you are going in the right direction. You know what you're doing, you know what you're practicing, and we have the science-based evidence to show you. All right, let me go to Mr. James Ong here. Let me add him to the spotlight. Good morning, Dr. James. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning and good evening to you. Hi. And thanks for having me today. It's very exciting for me to be sitting on the other side, not being a host, and to be a guest, to be interviewed. I really enjoy that. And I hope that our viewers will benefit from the sharing that we are going to do today.
Yes. So I looked briefly at your video, and I saw that you spent a lot of time doing your research. That's amazing. That's a lot of time. So yeah, back to this weekend a little bit. So you conducted class 1 the past weekend, right? How was the turnout?
Yeah, there's almost 100 people in total, 98, including me and Hakao, so 96. And yeah, it was pretty exciting for the newcomers. And yeah, they had a lot of questions to ask. And I felt good whenever people ask questions, because when I when I went through the class myself, I asked the most questions.
You did. I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, we should ask to get knowledge, right?
Absolutely right. If you don't ask, you never know. And yes. It's great. So wow, so close to 100 students for class 1. That's incredible.
Yes. So there will be another class 1. It's twice a month. So there'll be another class 1 coming up. And I hope that those people who attended the previous one will introduce to their friends and loved ones. And that's how more people can benefit from the practice of NLG.
That's wonderful. For the time being, do we have the schedule for class 2 yet?
Yeah, class 2 will be on the 3rd week of the month. Yeah, we do have the schedule. I guess we'll get the team to post it out and get people to start. No, I guess No, it will be after the next class 1, sorry. So I think the next posting will be the next class 1. So the people who attend the next class 1 will have the benefit of attending the class 2 as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so for our viewers, if you heard that, we will have the class 1 this third weekend, I think the 20th and 21st.
Yes,
and if you already attended class 1 last time, you feel free to come back and attend again. You know, somehow if you miss 1 or 2 activation or whatever, it will always benefit you to come back and to enhance your NLG practice. It can't hurt to come back.
Exactly.
All right, so
if on the same level, you can receive activation and it won't harm you.
That's correct. Yes, thank you, Ray, for the reminder. If you are on level 1 and you attend the class 1 again, you are fine. But if you already attended class 2 and was activated during the class 2 session, do not receive the activation from the class 1. Yes, that's a lot to remember, but when the time comes nearer, we will give you the reminder and we will show you the schedule and everything in details. So for now, let's go back to our main focus for today. And yes, as I mentioned earlier, so Dr. James today will talk about a lot about the universe, the energy, how it was created, how we are all connected. So should I start with playing the short videos, Dr. James, or would you like to do some intro first?
Just the introduction. And also for all of you who are watching this for the first time, there are 10 scientific videos in the NLG Global YouTube channel, and you can access to all of them. So Ms. Tu is going to share the first one. That's the topic that we are talking about today, and just show you briefly, and then we'll discuss more about it.
Okay, alrighty, hold on here. Let me click share screen and we will start. This is our, oopsie. Wait a minute, excuse me. Let me play it first.
Hi, my name is James, and today I'm going to share with you some scientific evidence that hopefully will be able to enlighten you that we are linked somehow to the universe and also linked to all living things.
Sounds great, right?
Yeah, it's just lagging a bit. I think it's the internet.
Okay, did you see it well, Dr. James?
Yeah, we could see it, but it's just lagging a little bit. Maybe it's the internet connection. But yeah, all of you, the viewers are, able to see it for themselves at their own leisure, and just subscribe and join. And if you like it, please share it also with your loved ones and your friends.
Yes, that'd be great. Yes, so today, as you just heard from our little intro, I told Dr. James that I really love the intro, the music and the font that he used. It looks so pro. I enjoyed that a lot.
Well, the intro was actually done by the IT of NLG.
Well, we are pro. Yes, great.
So they have done a great job. I thank them.
Yes, really appreciate our IT team. They work wonderfully. Yes, and so Dr. James, what are you going to tell us? First of all.
Okay, first of all, a bit of background about why I started all these videos, and there will be more in the pipeline, because I wanted to really know and understand what's going on, right? I mean, we received this healing, we've seen thousands of testimonials of health sharing and so many other stuff that's going on. I just wanted to find out for myself, and I think too, you're one of the colleagues. For a few months now, we've been always constantly sharing with one another about everything that's happening, with not only within NLG, but outside of NLG as well, just to make sense of everything. And in my research, of course, with energy, I wanted to find out how can we receive this energy from the universe. And I think a lot of our members and even viewers who are watching us for the first time will be wondering, how do you do it, right? How do we do it? So when I researched into it, and what I found was this wonderful experiment, which is the twin photon experiment. And it was done by the University of Geneva in Switzerland way back in 1990. I can't remember the year, but I think it was 1990.
1997? Yeah.
1997, yeah. And it was very interesting experiment because they split one photon into two. So these are twin photons. Why twin? You add the mass of these two photons, you get the mother photon, right? So it's actually one giving birth to two, right? You split and becomes two. And these two photons, they sent into two different directions through the fiber optic lines that, you know, mobile phones and communication use, the fiber optic. They send one photon to the north, 7 miles, and the other photon to the south, 7 miles. And what they did was they tinkered with one of them. They manipulated one of them. But when they manipulated one of them, the other one reacted as if it was being manipulated on. And Einstein called this spooky science, right? Spooky. And yeah, but Einstein probably didn't have the facility to prove they call it quantum entanglement during his era. But now we do. We have that ability and the technology. We can actually measure and see all these things. So quantum science has helped us better visualize what's happening in the unseen world, basically, because we have to really appreciate Albert Einstein, because he is the one who came up with E equals to mc squared, which basically says that, you know, particles can bend and into, you know, light waves and stuff like that. So he's the one who discovered and he modified the earlier Isaac Newton, you know, theory. And we have to, you know, appreciate this man who was a genius during his time. So now science is able to see this quantum entanglement, and this opens up a lot of questions, right? Because how is this possible, isn't it? So later on in science, because this was 7 miles north and south, so maybe it's just short distance, this thing can work. What about hundreds of miles or thousands of miles, or what about in the outer space, right? So people will
unlimited, yes.
Unlimited, absolutely. So in, I think 2017 again or 18, there was this experiment in China scientists, because China sent a satellite orbiting Earth, and it's about 300 miles, you know, orbiting Earth. And they did this quantum entanglement experiment by doing the same thing, split the photon, sent it to 2 laboratories on Earth, which are like 700 miles apart. All right, so they level up. They took the whole thing they raised the bar, right? They did the experiment from outer space, and guess what? It worked. It worked exactly the same. This quantum entanglement worked exactly the same. So when I look at this experiment, I was like, oh, okay. So from the mother photon, you split into twin photons, and you do something to one, it affects the other. In other words, there is entanglement, there is a relationship, there is a correlation, there is something, the invisible world, invisible force, right, that's happening all around us, because these are photons, which are energy. But when you look at the Big Bang, which is what most scientists believe what happened to our universe, the creation of our universe, well, it comes back to the same thing. Because why? The Big Bang also started. Maybe if I may, can I share some slides to show what happened in the Big Bang?
Yes, please.
All right. Yeah. So I did some homework yesterday so that our viewers can understand more. And this is what Cosmos world today can agree, right? Because they send up probes, you know, like they have WMAP, if you can see on the right hand side. This is a probe that was sent in 2001, and it's called the Wilkinson microwave anisotropy probe. Well, this is basically to measure in the cosmic radiation, cosmic rays, right? And to basically tell us what actually happened after the Big Bang. And this is what they have. And it's very interesting because before the Big Bang, there is this quantum fluctuation on the left-hand side. All right, so quantum means things that we cannot see, we cannot really understand. But then with this immense energy, all condensed, and it just exploded, right? So we see the word inflation. So it exploded, and this is where science believes that there is no time and space. We are in what we call singularity. This is the beginning of creation, the beginning, right? So this is where the inflation occurred, and it just expanded into more than the speed of light, right? It just, and they call it the Big Bang, but there's no bang because there's no sound, because we don't have particles, we don't have vibration, there's no sound, right? So there is singularity, there's no time and space at that point in time. So with this inflation, then we have a very intense energy and heat. And we have some particles that got away. In other words, we have particles and antiparticles, and I guess with some particles that got away means there are more particles than antiparticles, you know what I mean? Because they sort of cancel each other out. And for
where did they go then?
And you know, the amazing thing is that all this happened within split second too. It's so amazing. It all happened within just a split second. And then
I wish I were there to watch it.
And then for the next 10 seconds, which is like 400,000 years, right? For the next 10 seconds to the 400,000 years, what happened was that there are hydrogen, helium, and you know, these gases and all that, they started to form, all right? And then because there was an explosion, there was a push. So like now science believes that our universe is not constant, our universe is expanding, because there's this invisible force that created the bang, the push, right? So until today, you can see that stars are moving, galaxies are moving. We may not feel it, but because the galaxy, the whole galaxy is moving together. You know what I mean? But actually,
Absolutely.
we are expanding. The universe is expanding. Isn't it exciting? So
it is.
Yeah, you have these particles that escape and grew into different types of particles and stars and moons and planets and whatever. And this is where our universe and galaxies are formed. And this happened over millions of years, because when the temperature started to cool down, then more and more particles are being created. And gravity is when mass is being created, then it has a pull, the gravitational thing. And that's why you have Milky Way, and you have different galaxies. They're all pulled to one another. Interesting?
Right.
Am I going too fast?
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, Dr. James, do you still want to leave the share screen?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So this is just the beginning. But you know, having said all that, after millions of years, and the creation of where we are today, well, this is just a summary. Our understanding is based on what we see, and what we see is only 5%. Okay, because the entire universe,
what we can see with our naked eyes.
Yeah, and the other 95%, sorry, 68% is dark energy, we cannot see. 27% is dark matter, we cannot see. So our understanding is based on the 5% that we see from the photon.
There's so much unknown to us.
Absolutely. So we send all use all these telescopes. We are getting signal from all these vibrational light, you know, light years away, and we are trying to decipher what's happening in the universe. Okay, and another topic that I feel that, you know, I should talk about is the black hole. People have been talking about black holes for 100 years, I think, when it was first discovered, but they have never really seen the actual black hole until recently. Okay. So this was on 10th April 2019. The first black hole image was captured. You see, there's a lot of things in the unseen, unexplained world, but scientists over the years, especially in the last 50 years, quantum science have taken a huge leap, and we're now able to understand and see more things that's happening around the universe. So this was actually taken by this particular Event Horizon telescope, and it actually looks like this. This is the black hole. So with the black hole, what it does is that anything that is attracted into the middle of the black hole will disappear. And scientists is still unable to understand and see what's behind the black hole. And even the great intelligent Stephen Hawking is saying that not everything will be pulled into the black hole. There's what they call the Hawking radiation. In other words, as it is being pulled into it, some will still escape. So I guess he believes that nothing will be totally destroyed, okay? Because people are now saying that, oh, okay, when first black holes have been discovered, they're saying that the universe will be absorbed and just disappeared in the near future, all right? But in the near future could mean thousands of light years from now, right? So
we'll be safe.
Yeah, we are safe. You know why we are safe too? Because the nearest black hole is so far away, and our universe is expanding. So they are moving further and further away. So I don't think we need to be
good news. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and I think we should be more concerned about the comets, you know, asteroids coming and maybe hitting Earth. I think
yes,
that will be more scary for us. So this is what happened during the Big Bang, before and after. And just before, as I said, the quantum fluctuation and the intensity and the singularity, there was no time and space at that time, and it just exploded. All right. So this was what happened. And this is the universe as we know right now, because if you look on the left, that is the quantum information, and the smallest particles to you know, the largest numbers on Earth, which is the universe. And now they are even talking about multiverse, because now, yeah, science has developed many more theories that says that we have different dimensions. They're saying that during the Big Bang, there are other baby bangs, you know, being created, right, simultaneously, but they cannot prove that yet. So there are many theories about parallel dimensions and stuff like that. So we have multi-universe out there. Isn't it exciting? It's so amazing.
Absolutely. It is so amazing. I'm sure we all have learned about the Big Bang since we were, you know, in high school or even younger before that. But just to learn more about it in detail, with in-depth knowledge like this, it's just incredible. It's like, so I just got to know too that the Big Bang did not occur somewhere in space, but it actually occupied the whole space. And the Big Bang is space itself, right? It just bursts into a new kind of energy. Is it right?
Yeah, well,
something like that.
Like I said, I mean, we think we know, but we don't. Because
right. I know so many theories about.
The knowledge is only based on 5% of what we see. And can only make deductions, and unless and until the hypothesis or theory has been proven, and science will take its time to be able to prove that, you know.
Absolutely.
So for example, like what gives mass? So Professor you know, Higgs, he put forward in the 1960s that mass was created by this field, right? Because every particle has mass, even subatomic particles, but they have to pass through this field before mass is being created. So when you talk about the Big Bang, that is where the Higgs boson field, you know, started. It started there at that time, because right after that, then the particles were formed, right? That's where mass were given to particles, because they went through the field. And, you know, interestingly, when he put forward that in the 60s, I guess, you know, scientists probably laugh at him. And it wasn't it wasn't until I think July.
They were 4th, not ready. They were not ready.
July 4th, 2012, I think it was. That was when, they found out that what he was saying was the truth. And they were able to do that after more than 10,000 scientists, billions of dollars, because they created this collider in Switzerland. And this collider is huge, right? It's a big town, you know, of scientists. And they spent so much money. And after many, many years, imagine 5 decades later, they were able to confirm that what these scientists said is true. And that changed the ball game as well, because it really changes the understanding. And then it's like the new young age, the younger generation will just take what they have learned. It's just like people learn from Newton, from Einstein to, so many scientists before. And to this now Higgs field, like some people call it the God particle, right? So it's very interesting.
Particle, yes.
Yeah, as science evolve and help us to understand much better, just like this black hole, they found out about the black hole about 100 years ago, but they never saw it. They only guessed what it would be, but now for the first time they are able to see it. So once they can see it, they can draw many more deductions from what they see and try to make more explanations. So that's the interesting part about science.
Right. Yeah. So let's circle back to the experiment about the photons. So from the original photon, they were split into two. So they are two identical twin photons, right? So
Yeah.
what happened was that, let me recap. So somehow the two protons received the information, or in another word, they experience the same thing, even though they were
Absolutely.
14 miles apart,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it sounds like so I kind of remember the scientists, they also they did measure the time, like they used something like a atomic clock, and they found that the lag time was 0. That means whatever happened to both photons, it happened instantaneously, right?
Yeah.
So right, so yeah, it's incredible. So
It's incredible.
so
I
even
mean,
though they are separated physically, but they're
yes,
still connected
exactly.
energetically,
So
right?
when you talk about people looking into astronomy out there, whatever happened up there can happen to us, isn't it? I mean, with all due respect to all religion, but things are just playing into my mind now of a lot of things that's happening in the universe with the protons. I mean, all the particles out there. It all came from the original Big Bang, which is light, which is energy, which is photon. So like you and I, we are made of what? Hydrogen, oxygen, carbon,
Absolutely.
right? And what are all these particles that we are made of? Majority of them. I mean, there are others, smaller amounts of particles in us as well. But the thing is that originally, before these particles were created, they all came from energy, came from light, they came from photons. So that's why we are connected, we are related.
So are we, right? We
Yeah,
were created from energy too.
exactly. And
We're made
imagine,
of energy, yes.
remember I said that some particles escape and there are more particles than antiparticles. And if not for this escape, we would not be here. We would not be here. So because of that, I tend to believe that there is a creator. As what Mr. Lee always says, we are getting the energy from the creator. In other words, it is not by chance, it is more by design. It's like everything happened, the universe cooled down, planets, galaxies, and now Earth. And from the earliest form of life, now we have evolved into the highest form of life, which is human being. And it's not by chance. I don't believe it is by chance. I don't believe that we are here today talking to one another because of billions of years ago, something happened by chance. I don't believe that. I think there is
it was meant to be, right?
Yeah, it's very powerful, right? What I have to say. And
absolutely.
I believe in the creator.
And I do too.
Yeah.
Yes. So the story is getting very exciting, but we have a couple of minutes until Mr. Lei come on air and do the NLG transmission. Let me connect to the Vietnamese live stream now, and we can he comes on screen. Can chat a little bit until, yeah, I think he's coming.
Send the NLG energy to the beloved audience. When he says start, please look into the middle of his forehead and imagine you are receiving NLG into your forehead. Then just relax and let this loving energy absorb to your body for 5 minutes and 30 seconds until Mr. D says done.
Vâng ạ, chúng ta hãy đón nhận nguồn năng lượng an lành này bằng nụ cười và một tâm thái thật là bình yên và hạnh phúc. Và ngay sau đây thì chúng ta sẽ cùng đón chào và mời chú ạ. Xin mời chú ạ.
Xin chào tất cả những người đến livestream cùng lệ. Chào cô Trần Thị Thanh Xuân nhé.
Em chào chú.
Hồi nãy nghe cô chia sẻ rất là thú vị về những sự cải thiện về sức khỏe của mình. Và bây giờ chúng mời tất cả anh chị em đó dành cho mình năng lượng để làm được lệ. Và bây giờ chúng ta bắt đầu.
Thưa chú là chị Thanh Xuân vừa rồi có đặt một câu hỏi chú là chị mà áp dụng
Okay, let's come back to our conversation.
That was nice receiving the transmission.
Yes, I did too. I hope that everyone had received the great, wonderful energy transmission from Mr. Lei. And let's change our focus back to Dr. James now. Oh, hold on here. Let me add you to the spotlight. Okay. Yes. So where were we? We circled back a little bit to the photons, and we talked about the separation of the two photons physically, but energetically they're still connected, right? They're still, yes. And just like us human, yes. we are all connected, even though we are separated apart.
Because we are created from the same source. We are all created.
Absolutely. Yes, that's a great point. Yes. So this explains a lot. This just reminds me of stories of a mother and son. They are separated like thousands of miles apart, like during World War II, World War I even. So when the son was somewhere on the other side of the earth in a battlefield, and the mother being thousands of miles away from the son, but she knew exactly. She had not just the feeling. She had the connection to the sun, and she knew what was happening to the sun, that it was exactly the sun could confirm afterwards, right?
Sometimes we call
I could relate to this story.
We call this intuition, right? And
intuition, yes.
Practitioners of NLG find is when they go to a higher level in their practice, their intuition is stronger. And yeah, so this explains also, like when you want to call someone and that someone already pick up the phone because that person is calling you as well, right? So it's like you are connected even if you are far away. We are all connected. It's just, do we know how to connect? That's the thing. Yeah.
Yes. So I just have a cute little story about how we are connected to each other energetically. So it's a little bit about like the law of attraction too. So a few months back,
it all comes together, too. So it resonates with the law of attraction, the law of vibration, like attracts like, and stuff like that.
Yes, I believe so. I believe that it has happened a lot to me recently. I'm sure you all have your stories too, and I hope when for our viewers, if you have stories about intuition, about synchronicities, please share with us. We would love to feature more on our next talks. And
so it's not just about health testimonials, right? Too. That's the point you're trying to make.
Right. That's right. Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. James. We will talk a lot more to life. Of course, the testimonials about health is a big thing. It's a great thing. But we have a lot more. When you come to energy practice, it's about
the benefit is much more. The benefit is much more than just good health. Yeah.
Yes, good health, and you have a great what do you call
vibrational
my mind's coming to a blank. But yeah, your family relationship and your work relationship, everything else, when you start to see it happening more to your advantage, you will see that you're really connected to the source. We hope you feel it that way, right?
Sorry, you were about to share your story before I interrupted you. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, it is more about the law of attraction, but still it's energy. So a few months back, when I was making breakfast for my family, and I thought, I wish that I would have a waffle maker, because I know my son loves it. And I keep thinking about it. And then, you know what? A few weeks later, my husband surprised me with a waffle maker. I never asked him.
Wow.
I never asked him.
Your intention was passed on to him.
No. And you know what? I even did not, search for, like an online retailer. So because people would say, oh, because you search on it, so he saw the cookies and he just clicked on it. No, I did not search for anything. All I did was just thinking about it. And a few weeks later, I have my waffle maker, and it just burned me. I was I was really excited about it. And it's just one of the many stories that just happened to me recently. I think you all have your stories as well. We would love to hear more. So maybe on our next Thursday science talk, we'll talk about similar things, right, Dr. James? What are we gonna share with our audience next time?
I mean, there are other videos to talk about how our body can affect the DNA. How our DNA in our body can attract energy. That's important, right? So because we have DNA in our body, we want to see the connection, right? And also how our heart's intention can affect the DNA. That's also, and maybe we'll put the two together and do it on the next Thursday's live stream. These are two videos.
Right. Okay, great. All right. So I look forward to our next Thursday science talk. All
right. So thank you so much, Tu, for having me today. And I hope that our viewers are enlightened. And it's out there. We are all connected. All living things, everyone is connected. Everything is connected.
Yes, we are all connected. That's what I believe. All right. Thank you, Dr. James, so much for joining me today. And I look forward to our next Thursday science talk. And we will have a lot more to discuss. And to our audience, this is just a fun fact. Today is a special day, 11/11. So if you're into numerology, take some time and try to do some research about the meaning of the number 11/11. It's supposed to mean something great, something special. So I hope your day will be special as the day 11/11, November 11. And thank you for joining us today. And we'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 8:30 a.m. Vietnam time. Bye for now.